Hey friends, I'm out for a family walk here and wanted to share some thoughts with you because we've all experienced the frustration of setting big, hairy, audacious goals only to fall short of reaching them, right? Now, being the beginning of not just a new year, but a new decade, there seems to be even more riding on our plans and our decisions right now. It feels like the next 10 years of our lives are at stake or something. But here are two problems that I see, things that I see all the time when it comes to our pursuit of goals. Number one, we set goals but don't align our daily reality to actually execute with success. It begins to feel like we're chasing a pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. Our goals are always just outside of our grasp because our dreams might be clear, but our daily reality is still cloudy. Number two, the second problem I see is that we get so consumed with pursuing what's ahead of us that we miss what's right in front of us. Most of the regrets that I hear about from the generation ahead of me have everything to do with missing life's beautiful moments and nothing to do with failing to achieve their goals. So I'm going to just share 3 adjustments that I've made in my own planning that have helped me to achieve goals that once seemed distant while making moments with my family more meaningful. And they're walking ahead of me. I want to catch up with them, so this is going to be quick. The first adjustment is think long term. It always astounds me how many leaders don't have a real vision for the legacy they want to leave behind. What lasting value do you want to impart that will make the world a better place? Is there anything that you want to become absurd in 20 years? Is there anything that you can do about that? How can you empower others, the next generation, to go beyond where you've been and what you have done? Begin to consider these questions. Now listen, when we think about our goals in terms of aligning with the legacy we want to leave, we'll unearth a whole new level of passion and motivation. You'll also find that a lot of our vanity goals start to fall away. For instance, I used to lift weights because I wanted bigger arms. Why? Vanity. But now I barely think about that. Why not? Well, because one of my legacy goals is to walk each of my 3 daughters down the aisle and to dance at their weddings. For my youngest daughter, that's at least 20 years down the road. So my legacy goal in terms of health is now to build a foundation for an active lifestyle that stretches well into my 60s and beyond. I don't pump iron anymore. Instead, I do things like yoga, and I use resistance bands and things that are easier on my joints because I have a bigger long-term goal that I'm going after. Now, we could go on with all the examples here, but what I want to encourage you to do first is to set your legacy goals and begin to align your present activities with that in mind. Now, moving on to the second adjustment, it is to execute daily. And here's what that means. Think of it in terms of execution of tasks over quantity of tasks. In other words, I'd rather execute 100% of 6 things in a day than go from one day to the next with dozens of loose ends that are bothering the back of my mind. Man, it's so stressful. And I've seen daily execution go to a whole other level by implementing a really simple framework. And here's what I do. I block out my mornings for future work. These are the things that will matter a year from now and beyond, and they directly align with my pursuit of legacy. And then I block out my afternoons for upkeep tasks. These are the maintenance items that just need to get done so that the engine keeps running. These are things like emails and calls and meetings. A friend of mine once described these things as feeding the animals. It's the work that needs to be done to keep the animals alive and to keep the farm running. It's not glamorous by any means, but things die when they're neglected. So I'm able to protect these 2 kinds of work on a day in, day out basis. And when I do that, I find that the cloudy questions about my future, like, am I actually going anywhere in life? And they go away because every day I'm chipping away at the future. And I also find that those nagging, urgent demands subside because I'm maintaining things well. And thus, my stress levels go way down and my IQ stays intact. Okay, so now let's look at our last adjustment. This is the third and final thing I want to share with you today, and that's be present. If you look at my whole daily execution framework, you'll actually see not 2, but 3 categories. Those first 2 that you've heard already are number 1, future, and number 2, upkeep, but the third is just as important. Number 3 is memories, or making memories. Now listen, many of us are living unfulfilled lives because we're so focused on our future, or so buried under urgency that we're missing the moments that are right in front of us. Simply put, thanks so. Simply put, we're not building beautiful memories, and memories are what we look back on to determine if what we've worked for was worth it. And many leaders build profitable businesses, but they reflect on life. They look back with regret because they mistook professional success with building a legacy. They're left with all the money in the world and nothing to show for it. They didn't realize that legacy begins with what's in front of us today. Now they look back with regret because they missed out on life's beauty. So very practically, here's what I recommend. Plan your days to pursue future work and attack current upkeep, yes. But also plan your days to carve out time for making memories with the people that matter most. Block out time to read your kids a bedtime story. Say no to evening meetings that get in the way of that. Block out a weekend to take your family on that camping trip and shut your phone off. Leave work at home. Bottom line, make a plan for being present because it doesn't happen on accident. So I really want to help you with everything that I just shared. And that's why I'm sharing a free resource with you that I've developed to help equip you for making your own plan. It's a really simple 12-page guide that lays out a very easy to use, practical, holistic approach. The workbook gives you clearly guided steps for making your plan, and it covers absolutely everything. It covers your legacy statements to annual goals and 90-day goals, right down to the daily execution plan. It lays it all out for you. Now, if you're watching this now as a sponsored video, then you'll see a download button right at the bottom of this video here. So simple. And if you're watching this anywhere else, if you're watching it on Facebook or YouTube, then I'll post a link below in the comments so you can easily download it. Just provide your name and your email address so I know where to send it to, and I'll have that free guide sent right over to you. Now, finally, why am I doing this? Now, there are absolutely no strings attached. Yes, I'll be staying in touch with you going forward, but I'm not going to bait and switch on you. I'm not going to spam you, because one of my legacy goals, very sincerely from the bottom of my heart, is to help other purpose-driven, family-centered leaders build their own lasting legacy. So this planning guide is just one way that I'm pursuing that. There's no strings attached. I just want to help you be the best that you can be for your family and for a better future. So I'd love to stay in touch as you go after this. Godspeed, and I hope to hear from you. And now I'm going to catch up with my family on that walk. Take care.